Well, good morning one and all, and welcome to the Sudoku channel. This is Oliver coming to you from Youghal by the Sea here in Ireland over in Europe, and you're all more than welcome. We're delving back into the archives of the Telegraph newspaper, and we're looking at their Diabolical Sudoku puzzle of the 12th of March 2021. It is their number 5431. Now, in part 1 of this video we used the basic solving techniques, and this is where we ended up at the end of video 1, and I mentioned that there was an X-Wing there, which other people have noticed. Now I'll just show it to you first. It's an X-Wing. I'm going to have to try and colour these properly. It's on the 9s here and here, and also down here and here. So we can see there on the rows there are only 2 9s, and there are only 2 9s on the rows here. If you haven't done X-Wings before, go down below into the description and you'll find a tutorial on X-Wings. So how will we show the effect of this X-Wing? Well, take any one of the corners and we say, let's say this one is not a 9. Well, if that's not a 9, then this one is a 9. If that is a 9, then this one is not a 9. And if that's not a 9, then this one is a 9. So that means we can get rid of the 9s along here and the 9s along here if that one is not a 9. Well, let's say it is a 9. Well, if it is a 9, we can get rid of all the 9s down here. If it is a 9, that one is not a 9. Also, this one is not a 9, and there's only 2 here, meaning this is a 9. And we'd be able to get rid of these. So we're going to be able to get rid of the 9s there, there, and there. And the basic rule is if the base, which is where you have the 2 9s, if they're on a row, as they are there and they are here, then you can get rid of the other 9s in the columns. So there's the 9s that we're going to get rid of. So Ross and Glenn started off with this X-Wing, and then Glenn had a look at a cell where let's colour this cell, R2C2, this one here, and he started off on this cell here and he ended up on this cell here, making up a chain on the 9s. So he had a chain starting here and finishing here, which meant he was able to get rid of this 9 here. Now getting rid of that 9 meant that there was only a single 9 left in this row, this one here, so that became the 9, right? That was a nice simple solution. Was it Ross came up with another one, which I think was, everybody agreed it was a much nicer solution, and that was he started targeting R7C3. So he's targeting this cell here, and he made up a chain starting here and finishing here. Okay, so let's have a look at this chain now. Now I've highlighted the start and the end. We're starting at this 8 and finishing at this 8 over here, and our target here is in red, the 8. Now notice I haven't used the X-Wing to get rid of that 9 or that 9 down here. So as was suggested by Glenn later on, he was questioning is there any need for an X-Wing. So no, I didn't put in the X-Wing. So start off here. If it's not an 8, it must be a 7. Then that means this cannot be a 7. So if that's not a 7, it must be a 6. If that's a 6, then this cannot be a 6. It must be a 9. And if that's a 9, this can't be a 9. It must be an 8. Meaning that can't be an 8. Go the other way around. If it's not an 8, it's a 9. If that's a 9, this is not a 9. It must be a 6. If that's a 6, this cannot be a 6. It must be a 7. And if that's a 7, this is not a 7, it must be an 8. Again, meaning that this can't be an 8. Now that is depending on what way you're looking at it and whose terminology you're using. It's what I call an alternating inference chain, and it's using strong and weak links. And if you haven't come across them before, you need to go down below into the description and have a look in the various different tutorials there, and have a look for the tutorial on strong weak links and on the alternating inference chain. So going on that means we do not have an 8 here. So let's clear that up now. 8 goes. Now we have a 7 6 7 6, which is a conjugate pair, which means we don't have a 7 here. We can get rid of any of the 7s or 6s basically in that row, so we exclude the 7, giving us an 8, and this is the end of it now. It'll all just fall apart. So thanks to both of you there for your solutions. It got the grey cells working, and I have to say now this is a nice neat solution, and it came, I suppose, as a collaboration between the two of you, so thank you very much for that. And where else do we go? There must be another one up there. 9. It's the 5 1. All I'm doing now is just proving the point that everything, that it is right, that this will actually solve it, and I've got great faith in you, genius gentlemen, that it is the solution. As he goes blindly through everything. And 9 and 6 and 5, 8 and 7. Right, that was it. That wasn't bad. In fact, it was very good. So thank you, Glenn and Ross, for coming up with your 2 separate chains. I went for Ross's one because it was shorter, but as he said, he only found it because of what Glenn had shown him earlier on. And your question, Glenn, is there need for an X-Wing? No, you're quite right. No need for an X-Wing. Very simple solution in the end, and well, a simple solution if you knew it, but it does use a very advanced technique to get there, and appreciate that. Look, lads, if you're like these, delving into the ancient archives of the Telegraph newspaper, looking at their diabolical Sudokus, be sure and give me the thumbs up. Some positive comments are always greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, and you'll be informed automatically when the next one is going to come out. And God willing, as they say, it'll be on this coming Friday. Alright, so till then, Slán Tamil.